There we go. So everyone's able to grab this and watch it again. So what I'm going to do is let's launch into the actual PowerPoint so I can take you through this particular training. So the focus for today is essentially how to live a life beyond limits. And just to give you a bit of a sense, we've been focusing very much in this space since about 2002. I started very much on this journey. And what we then did is I started out as a life coach. I did very, very well as a life coach. And I had a lot of people asking me, how did I do so well as a life coach? How did I build that as a viable business? We're now, technically we are in our 19th year, but actually we're really in our 20th year. We incorporated Life Beyond Limits in 2004, but I've been coaching since 2002. And so what I want to give you a sense of what is actually in this particular program. So first of all, to make sure that you're in the right space, if you answer yes to any one of these 7 questions, then this is definitely for you. So the first question is, do you want a better life or do you want to improve your results? Do you want to get more from life and get more out of yourself perhaps? And do you want to improve your health, your wealth, or your relationships? And what I'm going to be talking about today can actually help in many different areas. And for that particular reason, we tend to get a real broad group of students. However, for me personally, one of the things that I wanted to do in learning neuro-linguistic programming is I wanted to overcome my money stuff. I wanted to overcome the limitations that I had in my life in a financial sense. And so I focused very much in the wealth space, and later on I help people in the health and the relationship space. And this can help in so many different ways. Now, this is a big calling, particularly during, COVID and all the stuff that's been going on over these few years. Stress has increased, frustrations has increased, anxiety has increased, and we're getting a lot more demand in that particular space, helping people to get beyond those particular issues. The next question is, does something in your life have to change for the better? Like, are you at a point when you're at a crossroad or you're not exactly sure what direction to go in or what you really want to achieve from life? The next is, are you curious about neuro-linguistic programming? I certainly was curious about neuro-linguistic programming for about 12 years before I actually got in the space. And when I got in that space, I felt like I had found home. All of a sudden, I learned a language that very much gave me the ability to communicate the sorts of ideas and concepts that were running through my mind. And I also had tools. And of course, I took it to the point to serve as a life coach. So the next question is, do you feel called to serve as a life coach? For me personally, it was something that was definitely inside of me. It definitely something that I wanted to do, but I wasn't really sure how. Even when I learned at the Life Coach Academy, when I learned the technical processes of coaching, it still didn't meet the mark. I still needed more, and hence I went into the space of neuro-linguistic programming, and that was the game changer. And the next is a market that I love serving, and that is the leaders, the influencers, and the agents for change. That's certainly a big passion for me. I love helping people help other people, and I think that's a great way to move the world forward. So what this actual training helps you to do is, one is confidence. A lot of people actually don't believe me, but it's so true. Before I learned NLP, I was lacking in confidence. I was very anxious, and I was having problems putting myself out there. And so this training will certainly help you to build your confidence, because it shows you what are the things that are stopping you from actually being confident. And another is to grow your career. Now, many people come and learn NLP because they want to leapfrog. They want to get to that next level. Maybe they've been trying for a long time to get to that next level and they're not sure why they're not getting to that level. And as a result of that, in learning more about yourself and what's stopping you and holding you back, people often through our program springboard. They often move to the next level much more easily. We also get a lot of people who want to grow their business. Not all of our students are in business. Some are there for their own personal gain, but business is sometimes finding that missing piece, finding what is kind of, stopping you from taking your business to the next level. And a lot of people ask me, what is the difference between life coaching and business coaching? The difference is quite simply, one is focused on life, one is focused on business. But the weird thing is you are usually focusing on the same issues, the same problems, the same belief systems, etc., whether you're working in life or business. The other area that is really important is communication plays a very big part in our success. If you are able to communicate succinctly, powerfully, who you are, what you do, how you serve, what problem you solve, those sorts of things, you can make a big, big difference to another person's life, but you've got to be able to communicate it to others. And of course, in the context of relationships, equally the same applies, being able to communicate to your partner. Now, this for me was a big eye-opener. I realized that my wife was auditory digital and I was visual. Our communication styles were very different, but whenever we had problems in our relationship, it was typically because we were miscommunicating. NLP gave me that missing piece. It was fantastic. This is a biggie. Heal the past. Many, many people come into our programs because what they're aiming to do is they know that there are some things in their past that just keep coming into their present. And of course, forecasting forward their future. So healing the past is very much the coaching piece and learning how to actually get beyond your past limitations. And of course, I've touched on, but relationships, and I mean relationships of all kinds. One of the things that's really critical in allowing a relationship to form is, do you have the skills to be able to foster a relationship, grow a relationship, and even build on a relationship? So there are many, many skills within this training that teach you how to grow your relationships. And this is a quick summary. So let me go a little bit deeper. There is so much in this program. I'm going to aim to give you as much as I can within the hour. But one thing that I have to say is there is so much that it's very difficult for me to fully cover the extent and the breadth and the width of this particular course. So the course that I'm speaking of very specifically is a course that we call our Life Coach and NLP Practitioner Certificate. So this particular course is focused for two types of people. One is people who want to work on themselves and grow their lives and improve their careers or their businesses. And the other is for those who actually want to turn this into a business or a set of skills that they can take into their career as a life coach. So it's a two-part program. Many courses that teach NLP usually just focus in one area, but because of our passion for coaching and the fact that it's much easier to teach this course if we are pretending that you're all going to be coaches, because the knowledge goes in much easier. It's much easier to teach. You will learn it much quicker. If you are thinking about how can I use these skills for others, and of course you will use these skills on yourself as well. So these are live Zoom trainings, a little bit similar to this, but of course, all our students end up on the screen. I'll show you a bit of a screen capture of what that might look like. Now, just to get a bit of an idea, if you don't know who I am, just in a quick summary, I studied coaching in 2002. I then went on in 2004 to study NLP. I then went on to learn EFT, metaphysics, clean language, and oodles of other coaching modalities to help my coaching so that I could help more people. And we then incorporated Life Beyond Limits in 2004 to house all of the courses and, of course, to house the accreditation. And then we've been teaching coaches and NLP since 2006. So in 2006, we took a turn and we decided to start teaching coaches how to be the best coaches in the world. And we have searched high and low for the best resources for coaches, for now quite a number of years. Now, I've done 37,000 plus hours of transformational work. That's based on last year's figures. Our team haven't had the time to work out what are my new hours based on all of last year's work. So it's going to be 37,000 plus hours of transformational work. So I've also been teaching this for 16 years, and I certainly understand coaching. I know it at a very deep level. And I also know transformation because I've been working as a coach for a long, long time. I've also written quite a number of books over the years. Those books are essentially designed to help people to help themselves. And it's my passion. It's really where I come from. So what did NLP actually do for me personally? It certainly gave me the confidence to find my mojo, my drive, my ambition. And I used to have a problem with depression and anxiety. So I'm no longer depressed, nor am I anxious about what I do and who I am. And I also discovered what were the programs that were creating that. And just a little clue, a lot of it was my past. A lot of it came from my past. I've worked with over 3,000 clients as a coach personally. As a trainer of coaches, I think it's really important that I continue coaching because it keeps me current, keeps my hand in. And also keeps my case histories that I share with my students very fresh and very new. I enjoy a great income and a great lifestyle, and I now live on the Sapphire Coast of New South Wales. The picture in the background is one of my favourite places here. And I've also got now a radio show that came from my ability to teach people. So my radio show very much is all about teaching people how to improve their mindset. Now, a lot of people ask, what is NLP? And it's short for neuro-linguistic programming, of course. But NLP was stated to be the most powerful vehicle for personal change in existence. Now, that was by Psychology Today magazine, and that's a direct quote from them. And NLP has really been the game changer for so many people. So many people have learned how to get beyond their limitations. And that's very much what NLP is about. Of course, there are many skills, as I shared earlier, about communication, also about building rapport, building better relationships, understanding people at a deeper level and a greater level. Now, once upon a time, in fact, I just came out of a mastermind just before this, but once upon a time, I used to think the key to success was to join a mastermind. And so hence I've joined many, many masterminds over the years, and I'm currently in another couple of masterminds, one that I run and for coaches, and one that I participate in, as a speaker and as a trainer. And I'm there with many thought leaders who are helping each other to really make a difference in this world. So I do value masterminds, but they're not the only answer to success, because I found that the real key is to actually master your mind, because how you think determines literally everything. How you think determines how you live, how you act, how you behave, how you engage and interact with people, and how you feel at a level of self-esteem. So that is very much why the NLP piece really appealed to me, because I personally really wanted to get myself thinking in much, much better ways. So what I want to start with is I want to start with a model, and much of NLP is very much model based. So once you have a model, you can work with that particular model. Now, the brain, as you well know, is very complex. And of course, you saw synaptic connections and dendrites and, all of, the axioms and things within the brain that make up our physical structure of the brain. But the land of thoughts, beliefs, limitations, ideas of self, identity, all that sort of stuff is complex. And what I really loved about NLP is it took a concept that was very complex and it put it into easy to follow models. So what I'm going to share now is the 7 neural filters that hold the key to unlock your inner genius and give you freedom. So this is to become conscious of what's actually stopping you. And when you become conscious of what's stopping you, you can actually do something about it. So we're starting off with our lovely skeletal structure or X-ray of Homer Simpson. And we're going to give you a sense of how we become who we become. So the first thing that happens is we take in data through our senses. So meaning our eyes, we see things, we hear things through our ears, we feel things in our body, we say things in our head, we can touch it, we can smell it, and we can experience something. Now, all of these things need to now go through a filter system to be able to make sense of it and also to help us to decide what will be our next behavior as a result of what happens. So we see an event and then we go through a decision filter, which is what are we going to do as a result? Now, in order to answer that question, we have to now go back into our past and into our memories filter and ask ourselves, what does this look like? And does it look like something we know? And if it does, what did we do last time? So then we move on to our beliefs filter, which is usually a prediction filter. That is, what do we think is going to happen as a result of this? What do we believe about it? And then we move to, of course, our language filter. Now, by the way, the language filter pretty much determines whether we're going to take in data or we're not. In other words, if we can't understand the language or it's framed in the wrong way, in other words, it's not framed in the way that we understand it, then it's completely deleted. In other words, we'll discount it. So if I say something like bonjour, if you don't know that that's a greeting in French, well, you'll discount that. If I say saya mau nasi goreng and you don't understand Indonesian and that I'm asking for fried rice, you'll completely discount it. So your language filter is the filter that should you want to grow your life in any particular area, you often start at the language filter. Think about this. In the context of wealth, if you want to grow your wealth, you have to grow your language filter. You have to start to understand new words that allow you to create new experiences. Quite often when you're reading a book, you're starting to, a how-to type book, you're starting to learn new words, new frames in order to be able to determine how to do something. For example, in real estate investing, negative gearing, positive gearing. These are frames that if you don't know what they mean, it's difficult to do that investment strategy. So another filter is our values filter. In other words, our values filter is why your life is like it is. All our values are unconscious unless they are made conscious. And in our NLP program, we'll show you a technique to be able to turn your beliefs conscious and your values conscious. So your values at the end of the day, what they are is they're kind of like words. For example, freedom. Freedom is a value for some people, but freedom might be really up here for that person. And another value that might relate to freedom is wealth, for example. So if freedom is up here and wealth is down there, you can almost guarantee your income. But if they reverse, and that is wealth is up here and freedom is down there, your income will be greater. So that's just based on your values. If you value social interaction, you will socially interact more. If you value time alone, you will spend more time alone. So that's essentially your values. Your meta programs are non-content filters. In other words, some of us think in big picture concepts and we find it difficult to go in the detail, or the detail bores us, or something along that line. Or for some of us, we prefer detail and we avoid big picture. So meta programs are very much how we process all of these filters, how we process how we think. And the great thing about NLP helps us to understand how to get into these filters to make those incredible changes in our lives that allow us to make incredible differences in our lives. So the final filter is the attitude filter. You know quite often, you may have even heard the quote that someone like Richard Branson has said that I prefer to hire for attitude because I can always teach skill. But attitude is something that can be difficult to change. But of course, with neuro-linguistic programming, your attitude filter is a very key filter to focus your attention on. It's going to determine how you show up. So let's just go back to how I framed this in the beginning. We see an event. What happens is that event has, according to a guy called Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he said that we have 2 million bits of information coming to us every second. But some people will sort for some things and other people will sort for other things based on particularly your values and your beliefs and of course your memories. So when we get an event, what happens is we all will personally choose what happens to that event. That is how we decide that event is going to affect us. What then happens, we make an immediate internal representation. In other words, we say that that event is this or that event is that. What we then do is our physiology will shift based on our state. So our emotional state will change. And of course, it will change our physiology. So we'll stand upright, we'll run away, or we'll run towards, or we'll freeze, fight, flight. All of those sorts of ideas and concepts happen because of these filters. So what that does, that creates the behavior. Now, all of this happens in a fraction of a second. Those 2 million bits of information, according to Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, they are deleted, distorted, and generalized down to about 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information. So all that data, not all of it goes in. Much of it is rejected, much of it is deleted. And so the greatest value that we can work with a person is changing these filters. Working with a person to work out what filter is actually causing them the most grief, and then focusing all our coaching into helping that person to change their memories or change their beliefs, or increase their language or change even their language, and to shuffle their values, put another value higher than a previous value, and of course help them to make better decisions and have a more improved attitude. So this is one model, and I'm going to go even deeper into this model. So the first thing that we have to understand is, how do these filters actually stop you? How do these filters, hinder you, hold you back? So the thing that we've got to do as a coach is we're going to work out how to stop those filters from stopping us. And so that's what I want to go into specifically. So let's start with the decisions filter. So the decisions filter is, what we've got to do here is we've really got to discover how to uncover your unconscious decisions. Now, I've I've chosen a word there, unconscious. Let me explain that there are three parts to our thinking. There's the conscious mind, which is, the moment that you unconsciously, your lips start to dry out, or your voice starts to dry out, or you feel parched, then it comes into conscious awareness. That is, you're aware of your parched self. So what you then do is you reach for a glass of water. That you do consciously. So that's the unconscious working with the conscious. There's also another part of our brain called the subconscious. The subconscious is actually just below consciousness. It's kind of where you go when you try to remember a number that you have dialed a number of times, but you're not consciously aware of it. So what you can do is you can shift your brain frequency. In other words, you move from beta consciousness, which is high alert or stress. You calm your brain down to what is alpha frequency, which is about 8 to 13 hertz. And you get to a calmer space. And now you calmly just go through your library to find that number. So that's now going into the subconscious, but it's actually the unconscious, which is deeper still, that governs 95% of your behaviors. So the first insight that we really get here is that to change decisions like I'm not good enough, or I can't do this or that, or this is as good as it gets, etc. Decisions like these stop you from ever living the life you desire, because these decisions are kind of like gateways or gatekeepers to behaviors that you will never do as a result of these decisions. Like, for example, I'm not good enough contextually in the space of public speaking. I've taught public speaking for many, many years. When a person believes that they're not good enough as a public speaker, what you have to do is first you've got to destabilize that decision. And that is add new information, new data, by giving them ways to become a better speaker. So sometimes you can change a decision filter just by educating. And just by educating, sometimes you can completely shift your perspective or your decision. So that's the first insight. The first thing we've got to do is work out, what are we saying in our head? What are these decisions that just keep driving our behavior? Now, this is an example of a decision. Now, this is a particular lady. Her name's Christina Morrison. She was an actor on Baywatch, and she came into our program, and her actual first level of belief, she didn't believe she could be a coach. She wanted to be a coach. She didn't think she could be a coach. And then she made a decision that it was really hard to get clients. So what I personally did is I helped her with that. And of course, her quote is, "Rick Schnabel, you rock." I don't know whether I rock, but the most important part of this is, since working with you, I've got coaching clients coming out of my ears. She is now a professional coach, and she's got clients coming out of her ears. She's got a lot of clients. So she made a new decision. That was the key piece that got the result for her. So here is another filter. This is huge. This is where we often do most of our coaching work. It's in the memories filter, because there's a period called 0 to 7, which they call the imprint period. That's the period where you just take on all of the beliefs, decisions, and memories about what it is like to be a child and what it is like to be a human. And much of the memories that we garner or gather, what they do is they perpetuate our life. In other words, 0 to 7 is when you made the most beliefs, decisions, and memories, and meta programs and values. Most of it came from 0 to 7. So this is why I believe that everybody should learn NLP, because what will happen as a result is it's the first time in a person's life where they're starting to consciously now look at various things that are affecting them in their current present life. So the memories filter The thing that I want you to understand is that our past wasn't meant to hurt us or wound us. It's meant to teach us and strengthen us. That's what your past is meant to do. But what happens to us is we have a memory, and sometimes that memory spirals us down into low resourceful states or unresourceful states. And then what that means is we can't move forward because we're stuck in the past. So the insight here is what you need to do in order to move on and move yourself forward is to learn from your past and actually heal it, or it will just keep repeating itself over and over again as you do. If I can give you a personal example of this, when I was working as a coach, of course, I was getting coaching myself. One pattern that was still playing out for me in my life was I was still being bullied. Now, I know that might sound weird as an adult, but there are many adults that are still being bullied in life. And that kept chasing me. And what I began to understand when I did a technical process with my coach, I started to realize that bullying was really the piece that was actually stopping me from stepping up and being a leader. From that point on, once I did that work, I started getting on stages. I started getting on, podcasts and videos and all sorts of things. I have no problems now putting myself out there because I know the more I put myself out there, the more people I can help. So sometimes our memories filter really stop us from doing what we ultimately truly want to do. So the third filter is the beliefs filter. Now, this is kind of like an on and off button. Your beliefs determine what you will and what you won't actually do. So the third insight here is what we need to do is become conscious of the beliefs that have been stopping you and actually get in and change them. Because what happens is if you have a limiting belief, an example of a limiting belief, I was working with a gentleman only yesterday. Now, this particular gentleman, he keeps having this problem that appears in his life. That is, he has a job for a while and then all of a sudden he becomes the target of attacks. And then he's forced to leave his job. Now, this is a massive problem. It cost him a fortune. He's had to move several times, to even go into a whole new area. This is a big problem. So he found me as a coach and I started working with him to help shift some of the beliefs that he had. The belief was very simple. I'm not good enough. In this job, I'm not good enough. And as a result of that, that was the piece that was ultimately self-sabotaging him. That's really what was going on. So as I said earlier, beliefs are kind of like your on button. In other words, it's a belief that makes you do something, or it's a belief that actually stops you from doing something. So a simple way to think about beliefs, if you believe that you can, it's a button that says, I can do that. It's your on button. If it's a belief that I can't, it's your off button. You'll never try it. You'll never learn. You'll never study. You'll never challenge yourself. So beliefs are quite critical in creating big shifts, big differences in people's life. Now, this particular lady, I love this lady. Her name's Marilyn Martin. She's a reading teacher in Victoria. And she believed, actually, I don't think she's in Victoria anymore. Anyway, irrelevant. She said, I believe that no one would listen to me, but I was wrong. I joined Income Incubator, which is one of our programs to teach people how to create online courses. And she said, I joined Income Incubator to build my first online course. In just a few weeks, I got 1,902 people enrolled in my course. I was gobsmacked that a grandmother could succeed online. I wonder whether you're hearing what her belief is there. It's actually at the very end there. And, it's that, I didn't believe that a grandmother could succeed online. And that's what she didn't believe. And so we did a lot of work on her beliefs around that to get her 1,902 people. I actually found out the other day, I can't recall the figure, but it's like 6,800 or 7,800. It's a fairly big number. She's got 6,800 or 7,800 students now, which is absolutely awesome. So what she did is she changed her beliefs around that. I truly believe anyone can do anything with the right beliefs. Here is the fourth filter, the language filter. This is a filter that usually needs education. It usually needs some level of growth, but it sometimes connects to our attitude filter. In other words, most of our language, as I said earlier, was learned from 0 to 7, which is called the imprint period. Negative language creates negative states. Negative states attract negative events. So in other words, if you keep saying to yourself, I can't, you get in what psychologists call a negative inhibitive habit pattern. In other words, we are born with the phrase, I can, and it's only through our parenting model that typically turns us from I can to I can't. So what we've got to do quite often is we're going to get in and we're going to change that particular filter. So the fourth insight here is master the language of success. Stop feeding negativity. In other words, there was a gentleman many years ago called Emil Coué, and no doubt you've heard of the word or the frame affirmations. Emil Coué was the guy who discovered affirmations because he was working in a hospital where people would come in and just die, so they'd come in and die. That was his expectation. That was the system, and they just put them into care until they passed on. Now, Emil Coué decided to do one thing different. He trained everyone that came in a sentence that they would use with regularity. And that sentence was, in every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Now, I can't remember the statistic, but it's something like out of 100% of people that came in and died, it changed. All of a sudden, just with that sentence, it went from 100% to, I think, something like about 60 or 70%. Now, I know that's not a high figure, but we're talking, it's either 30% or 40%. It's a big shift just through adding that phrase. So one thing that's really key is what you're saying in your head with regularity is creating your life. It's creating your state. And your state determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you talk, and how you talk determines what sort of quality of life you're going to have. Now, the fifth filter is the values filter. This particular filter I found over the years to make the most enormous change in people's lives. Now, our values are unconscious. The way I like to describe them, they're kind of like a rudder of a boat. You change your values slightly, you can change a trajectory. Like just a 3 to 5% trajectory heading off to the USA means you don't end up in the USA, that is in North America, you end up in South America and Brazil. So making a small shift, a small change can make a big difference in people's lives. So the way that I like to think about this is the island that you end up on is your life, and it's governed by your rudder, and your rudder is governed by your values. So the fifth insight here is to elicit your values, actually work out what they are, because they're unconscious and they're in a hierarchy. So what we do is we go through a very specific process to define what your values are and find out what numbers that they are at. And you will find out your number 1 value, number 2 value, 3 value, all the way down through your values. And once you've got that, we then teach you how to change it, should you wish to change the course of your life. Now, this particular gentleman, I can remember. Now, this is an old testimonial. This is going back to 2006, I think. Actually, no, 2005. I worked with this gentleman, and the quote he gave me is, "Rick is a genius in the mind space." He helped me to double my income. Now, what I did with him, he was in a sales environment, but he was uncapped. In other words, he could earn as much as he wanted. But his value systems were steering him away from the activity that was actually going to increase his income. So what I did is I did some work with him to shift his values, and in a very short space of time, he actually doubled his income. And it's incredible what you can actually do when you shift your values. You can make a big, big difference. This was also a big game changer for me. You know, I was struggling financially for a lot of my life, and when I came into NLP, that changed forever. So the sixth filter here is meta programs. Meta programs, as I said, is kind of like more complex filters that determine, are you big picture? Are you detail? Are you people, or are you project people? How do you do what you do? So this governs all your filters. And the real key here is our meta programs determine our personality, our identity. But most people don't know what their meta programs are, and so they don't know who they really are, and therefore they will never know what they can truly achieve. Think about this. If you don't fully know who you are, that's where many of your procrastinating comes from. That's where much of your indecisiveness comes from. It's when you go, should I do this or should I do that? Should I zig? Should I zag? Much of those decisions happen much faster when you know who you are, because you go, okay, if I zag, it's going to be better for me. Or if I do this, it's going to be better. It's going to meet my values. So your meta programs are a big, big difference in how you make decisions. So they do actually govern your decisions filter. Now, another way to think about this is a lot of people don't realize how much time they waste on making a decision. A lot of people don't realize how much time they waste when they're going, oh, should I do this or should I do that? Or should I do this or should I do that? And I have seen people who have wasted 60 years of their life, 70 years of their life. They still haven't made a decision about what they want to, do in their lives. And, sure, they're in a job, or maybe they're retired from a job, but they just weren't happy in it. So meta programs is a very cool filter. So know yourself well enough to repel criticism. That's another big thing that happens when you understand your meta programs. Criticism usually doesn't affect anyone other than someone who actually believes that they are worthy of the criticism. In other words, they don't know themselves well enough to dispel the criticism. When someone says you're a moron and you partly believe it, your energy will drop and you'll start acting like a moron. Now, I know that's a terrible word, but the thing is that you have to know where you're at to be able to go, I'm not a moron. That's ridiculous. I don't even buy into that. I don't believe it. So this was a guy who basically we discovered a big thing among his meta programs that made a big, big difference. And the testimonial that he gave me was, I wasn't a high flyer. I was on the same income for a decade. Rick found my limits and removed them. In no time, I increased my income by over 100,000. I was finally flying high, living the life I once dreamed of. So he's also a base jumper. So that's what he loves doing. And his wife is into healthy foods. She wrote a book about green smoothies some time ago. So sometimes when you work with him, you also help others as a result. But he mastered his mind. He really knows himself very, very well. That's how his income increased so dramatically. Now, the final filter is the attitudes filter. And as I said, Richard Branson will hire for attitude. Attitude is everything. It really, really is. But according to researchers at Duke University, habits make up 40% of our behaviors every day. But a new attitude can change any habit. So the thing that we've got to be able to do is understand that our habits are often unconscious and we're not often aware of them at all. Some we may, some we're not. Food habits, for example, sometimes we don't realize we've got a problem with a particular food until we're gaining massive weight. Or we've got a problem with alcohol till finally we crash our car or something along that line. But to actually change our habits, we can do that through our attitudes filter. So the seventh insight is change your attitude, for example, to never quit. If you change your attitude to absolutely never, ever, ever quit, you will guarantee success. So the attitudes filter is a very, very powerful filter. So this is just one model of NLP. And so if you want to really master your life, the thing that you've got to be able to do is you've got to get into these filters. You've got to be able to work out what filters are tripping you up. Is it your beliefs filter? Is it your values? Do your values need to change? Is it your attitude? Do you need to make a new decision about your life and absolutely have the attitude to stick to it? So one thing that we're very proud of is we help to improve people's self-esteem. Self-esteem is at the very core of everything you do. If you have a healthy self-esteem, you have a healthy life. And the other thing that's really important, and the values is the real piece here, to deliver a life of purpose. When you know what your values are, you know what your purpose is. And so that's very much our focus. But of course, not all of our students enroll because they want to be an accredited coach. However, as I said earlier, what we aim to do is teach people as if they are going to become a coach. Weirdly, the statistics are usually, out of all the students that come in our programs, it's usually a 50-50 split. 50% just are there for themselves to improve themselves and their lives or their careers or their business. 50% are there because they want to be a really good coach. By the time we finish the training, once all of our students have got all of these skills and these insights and understandings, that number changes. 70% become coaches, 30% are just there for themselves. So it doesn't matter whether you're there for yourself or whether you're there for others. We will teach you the same knowledge and the same value. In truth, you just might want a new or a better life, and that's absolutely okay. The first thing that we really have to get is it's your life and you can do with it whatever you choose. So this is how we help. So now, of course, if you haven't created an ideal life, it's likely that you don't know how. And of course, it can be a little bit daunting. I know a lot of people get there on YouTube, try to learn everything, but often find themselves getting confused. So what we've done is we've put everything into the one program, everything that you will need. So let me show you our unique and fast and proven formula as to how we've made accelerated differences in people's lives. So what we've done is we've created the ultimate package to design your ideal life. So that's its focus. You come into the program, you start to learn more about yourself, and ultimately you decide what is your ideal life. What do you really want to do? What do you really want to create in this life? And then we show you how to actually design your life. We used to call this program Career and Life Mastery because some people came in for career, some people came in for their life. And we're now calling it the Transformational Bonanza. The reason we've changed the name is because we've put 3 products in this one program. So what we've done, of course, the biggest part of the program is the Life Coach and NLP Practitioner Certificate. That's where you're going to make the biggest transformations. That's where you're going to learn the skills of being a life coach, or use those skills on yourself in your own life. Now, if you choose to be a life coach, or if you choose to make money online, or you choose to learn how to increase your money opportunities, what we've done is we've equally put in this program called Marketing Incubator. It teaches you how to market yourself as a life coach. It also teaches you how to market online courses and a whole host of other things, but there's some gold in that program. But the big program is the Life Coach and NLP Practitioner Certificate. That's where you get the skills. Now, another thing that we've realized over the years is some people aim just a little bit too low sometimes. Some people aim for, making, a part-time 50 grand or making 80 grand or something like that. But what we wanted to do is give you Millionaire Master Academy to start thinking like a millionaire. Now, we're going to give this to you anyway. It's up to you if you watch it. Some people go, look, I'm not interested in making millions, and that's A-okay. But if you are, we're going to give it to you anyway. And if you're not, we're going to give it to you anyway. So it'll always be there for you. So I want to talk just very specifically at a little bit more length as to what is in this particular program. So what's inside, and I'm going to make these in summary points. I'm not going to dwell or go too long on this because there is so much in this program. But what it is, in a summary, is it's foundational to advanced life coaching and NLP skills training. It also teaches you how to remove negative emotions from influencing you and your life and others around you. It's also going to teach you how to change your negative and traumatic past for good, so that things that affect you in the present can be massively diminished. This one technique is a huge game changer. We just did a training last night, and they loved it when we taught them a technique, which we call timeline. And it's a fantastic process, and we use it a lot in coaching. And you're going to learn how to manage and master your emotions and change your limiting beliefs. You're also going to learn specific mindset hacks that increase your income as well. And you're going to learn how to identify your limits and learn how to blast through them to stop them. The big key here is learning how to identify unconscious limits. Most people are not aware of their limits. So we'll show you exactly how to do that. And discover the power of hypnosis to change your neural pathways. So that's a summary of what's inside. There's also heaps of other things. You'll learn how to improve your memory. You'll learn how to improve your confidence. You'll learn how to improve your level of communication. As I say, there's so much in this program. We've just kind of cherry picked, some of the key things that people often love in this program. Now, for the coaches, we also put in this program, learn how to easily attract clients as a coach or change maker. That's a key piece if you want to use these as skills and you want to start getting clients. How to set up your coaching systems and administration. These are often the things that you're never taught in any coaching programs. So we identified that these were a limitation to many coaches, and so we decided to teach them. And discover how to scale up your business, to go from wherever you are right now to scale it up to the next level. Learn how to create landing pages and websites and things like that so that people can actually buy your products, and become an influencer for good in the world and learn the tools how to do that. This one piece is where our heart is. This is what we aim to do. We want to teach more and more influencers how to make a great positive influence in the world. Learn the commercial coaching systems that the pros use. So we'll teach you exactly what the professionals use in the commercial spaces of coaching, and much more for both coaches and individuals than we have time for here. But this is at least a bit of a summary. Now, this is a lovely gentleman that came into our program. He said, my mind was being blown away every hour of the course. Truly amazing. And I promise you, the things that you will learn will blow your mind. There's so many hacks, so many tricks, so many tips, so many things that make such a big, big difference. And Vitali discovered the power of beliefs. What Vitali also discovered, I remember at the beginning of the course, I usually ask my students, what's one thing, just one thing that you want to get from this course? And he said, I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had a girlfriend. I'd love to know how to have the confidence to even make that a possibility. Within a week of graduating from the course, he met his now wife. So really lovely story. This is how we do it now during COVID. We just simply do it online. So it means from anywhere in the world, you can be in this course. And we also, every single course module is recorded. You get the PowerPoints, you get everything you need, you get a manual, you get audios, everything you need, and you get them for life. So what happens is they all happen on Zoom. And these are some of the modules, how your brain works. You learn a technique called logical levels therapy, how to identify problems and where they begin and how to shift them. Of course, you'll learn more about the 7 filters of the unconscious that we just spoke of today. You'll learn about submodalities, brain untraining, how you untrain a person's brain, and deep level rapport. There's a whole host of things here that I won't labor through. Of course, this is recorded, so you can go back to it if you want to see what was totally in it. It says there's 30 life-shifting webinars. We actually added 5 to this, so there is no longer 30, there's now 35. And that came from so many classes that said, oh, could you also teach this? Or what if we also learnt this? And so we've got more in it than was before. We put a value of this at $113 per module, and there's 35 of them, so it works out to $3,960. This is what we used to charge for this particular course and this course only. We are going to completely reduce that. Our life coach and NLP practitioner training is also accredited, so it's nationally accredited and it's internationally recognized. So you can use this accreditation anywhere in the world. You get 3 certificates. One is the NLP practitioner certificate, that's its technical description, the life coach certificate, and also the Ericksonian hypnotherapy certificate. So there's 3 accredited certificates that you get here, which means that you actually become an accredited life coach, which is a big thing now. More and more people only want an accredited coach. So it's really important. Now, Michael said, Life Beyond Limits Life Coach and NLP program is the best we've seen in getting people into the right mindset to achieve amazing results. And, we're very proud of this program alone. It's made such a difference in so many people's lives. You also get full support with this program. So you get 60 30-minute Zoom sessions of support to guide you through the program using our life coach and NLP practitioner training. You also get 12 months of email access, so you can fast track your way to success as well. So we've recognized that support is a great, great help here. And we put a value of $2,500 on that. And it's incredible value in that, it's great to have your hand held through this particular program. So this is what you actually get. You get 35 live trainings on Zoom, and you get 6 30-minute Zoom sessions with me personally. You also get 12 months of email access. So the total value is $6,460. Now, this is what Mandy Siegel said. She said, Rick is an excellent trainer, full of inspiration, expertise, and always delivers beyond the promises that he makes. Now, Mandy is now a professional coach. She's also a professional trainer, speaker, and she's loving her life now, doing what she's always wanted to do. Now, What we're also doing, of course, is if you've already made your mind up that you're going to join us in this course, we're going to add some extra bonuses. The bonuses that I shared with you just earlier, they become bonuses and they're yours. So imagine having the best marketing minds at your fingertips. So you get the Marketing Incubator program, and that teaches you how to market yourself as a coach or market anything, your online programs or anything that you want to sell online. That's valued at $4,997. That's bonus number one. Bonus number two is the Millionaire Mindset. And we'll show you how millionaires think and teach you how to model their moves. So that's bonus number two. You get the Millionaire Mindset as well. So that's valued at $4,997. Plus, you get to revise this training anytime you like for life. It's basically the program that you can watch again and again and again. And if you want a refresher at any time, you can watch it again. So here's what you get. You get the 35 webinars. You get the 30-minute Zoom sessions, the 6 of those. You get the 12 months unlimited email access, the Marketing Incubator, the Millionaire Master Academy. That's $16,454. And of course, we're going to discount that so you can do this course at a crazy fee. The question that you might be asking is, can you do it another way? Yes. You could do a marketing course, a hypnosis certification, a life coaching certification, a copywriting course, an NLP practitioner certification. You can get a millionaire mentor, and you can pay probably 7 times as much as you will pay here today. So the truth is that there is no real comparison to this in-depth program, and I'm going to make your day by dropping the price. So basically, what you get is you get all of this because we want your success story. Success stories is what attracts new people to your program, and success is important. So when we help you achieve success, we get more success. So I'm also going to make this so attractive that you'd be crazy, you'd be nuts not to say yes, because after midnight, it's going to revert to full price without the bonuses. So I want to be really clear on that. The reason is we want action takers. It's $16,454 of value. We are dropping this incredibly to only $2,997. So for $2,997, you get the whole caboodle, everything, because we want to help leaders lead an evolution. We want to help leaders to help other people, so to wake them up to be able to see the possibility of what they can actually achieve in this life. And we've also got another way that you can pay this over 12 months for just $277. You can have this entire program, and it's over $13,000 off this particular program. And it's a huge program. There's also a 30-day, no questions asked success or your money back guarantee that goes with this. And you get to keep the bonuses. So the truth of the matter is we don't get people who give this program back to us. Once they come into it and they realize the value of this program, we do not get refunds. People don't come and say, can I have a refund? The reason for that is because it's so much value and they get more each time we run the live trainings. They keep getting more and more value as they go. So this is where you actually get it from. It's lifebeyondlimits.com.au/transform. And all you have to do, if you want to pay $277 per month over 12 months, you just click there. If you want to get the biggest discount, you click the Are You Ready to Live a Life of Freedom button. And then that, of course, ends at midnight tonight. So this is where you come to, and then you just simply click on the Buy It Now button and it does the rest. So equally, if you find, we do get some people who get a bit click happy and they just keep clicking thinking that the button hasn't clicked because maybe their server's a bit slow or something like that. If you've done that, just simply go to the search mechanism and just put in the word cart. It'll take you to your cart, and just empty your cart and start again, or just drop it down to one purchase. And then you can buy it from there. So this live training, the live training component will start on Thursday, the 24th of March in 2022, this year, of course. And it goes from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. It runs over 35 weeks. If for whatever reason you can't attend a training, then you can go to the live recorded trainings. And so you get lifetime access to that particular training. Plus, of course, you get the bonuses as well. So this is the link, lifebeyondlimits.com.au/transform. That's where you get it. And hopefully I will see you in the training. The question is, why does it end at midnight? Very simply, if you teach people who can make decisions quickly, they are the action takers. They're the easiest people to teach. They will be the people who will get the best benefit through this course, because we're going to be challenging you in this course, challenging your beliefs, challenging some of your past ideas about the world, and helping you to start thinking quite differently. And therefore, as a result, that's where your life gets to change. So if you have any questions, you can equally direct them to me. That's my email address. So just be sure to ask me any questions that you have before midnight tonight. And thank you so much for attending the webinar right now. And I'm just going to stop share. If you do have any questions whatsoever, you can feel free to ask those questions to me now, and I will be happy to answer them with you. While you're thinking of any questions, one of the things that is really critical to a person's success is go in with a vision of what you want to become or who you want to become as a result of doing this training. If you're not clear on that vision, we will help you with that vision. We will help you to build a grander or a greater or a more calm, peaceful or prosperous vision for yourself. This program, in all honesty, is the program that we should have been taught in school. It's the program that would have made a massive difference to millions and millions and millions of people should this have been in part of our education. Sadly, it's not. However, there are more and more teachers coming into our program, more and more people who are learning from us and going out and using what we've taught them to start creating new training programs, new training companies, and so forth. That's our vision. We want to teach more people how to help more people. That's how we're going to make a difference in this world. The last time I put in the thermometer into planet Earth, it is not doing so well. The reason for that is based on our leadership. It's based on the lies that our government is telling us. It's based on some of the leaders that are not acting with integrity. I really truly believe that it's courses like this that have a skeletal system of a moral code with integrity that really can make a difference in the world. So if you want to be a leader, please let us help you do that. If you want to be a coach, let us help you do that. If you want to create the best life for yourself, let us help you do that. We have priced this so low to allow anyone to come into this program, and I hope you'll join us really, really soon. Now, to respect your time, it is now 1:41. So I'm going to respect your time and finish up our webinar now. We don't have any questions to answer. So if you do have a private or personal message that you want to, or question that you want to direct to me, again, my email address is rick.schnabel@lifebeyondlimits.com.au. And I look forward to seeing you in the program that we will be starting very, very soon. Bye for now, and thank you so much for joining us today. See you soon.